The latest round of spectrum auctions has just been concluded, and over 65,000 crore has been spent by telecom companies. Idea Cellular has spent about 12,800 crore rupees. We're joined today by Mr. Himanshu Kapania, the Chief Executive Officer of Idea Cellular, and he's going to take us through the strategy that Idea has and how it intends to use this new spectrum. So I think the big story of this round of spectrum auctions is the acquisition of 2300 megahertz and 2500 megahertz. That's primarily for 4G services. What amount or what percentage of the total was spent to acquire these 2 megahertz bands?
We procured 349.2 megahertz of spectrum. Out of this 349.2, 200 megahertz of spectrum is for 20 carriers on 2300 or 2500 megahertz. The spends are approximately 2,000 crores. I don't have the exact number. Approximately 2,000 crore on capacity, while the remaining 149.2 megahertz of spectrum has been procured for 1800 and 2100.
So if you actually look at it in terms of just to make things a little simpler, sir, as a percentage of the total spend, what was acquired for the purpose of 4G services?
Other than 20 megahertz for 3G, total quantity, that means 329.2 megahertz has been acquired for 4G.
So 12,800 crore has been committed. What is the timeline for this payment?
So just to remind all your viewers, in the last 3 auctions, Idea has committed 60,000 crores for spectrum purchase. Most of our this expenditure will be debt denominated by government. It's available at very easy terms. As far as this spectrum auction is concerned, we'll make 50% upfront payment, mostly from internal accruals, and the remaining 50% we get 3-year moratorium, and then a 10-year period to pay the interest as well as to pay the principal. So it's a 13-year period, and will be added to our overall debt.
So when it comes to capital expenditure, sir, one question that arises is you've acquired new spectrum in areas where you didn't have before, the 2300 and 2500. That generally requires a higher spend on capital expenditure. What is the outlook as far as that is concerned?
Our current capacity utilization is at a level of 20%. It will go down to single digit once the full rollout is over, and we wait for demand to come in. So we don't need to deploy a capacity spectrum at this point of time. And I would like to again clarify through your channel that capex intensity, which was high in the last year and this year, is actually going to go down. We were at previous levels of 12 to 14% on gross revenue. We are at level of 18 to 20%. We expect it to down to 14 to 16% into future, because a lot of coverage layer has happened, and whenever there is more demand that will come up, all you will deploy this spectrum, and we will be able. We don't have to deploy high capital investments.
The profits have been declining of Idea Cellular in the last three quarters, and debt has considerably increased in the books. So what do we expect in the coming quarter, and will profits further decline?
We have the fastest growing telecom operator in India, and we've improved our EBITDA margin by 10% over the last 4 years. Cash profit has been growing by 20 to 25% on a year-on-year basis, and the similar trends will continue into future. There are additional costs that are hitting below EBITDA levels on both on interest, where there is no cash outflow, but it will reflect in P&L, as well as depreciation and amortization, because upfronting of the investments. So this is the nature of the business, and anybody who makes investments in telecom sector has to realize that there is going to be a period that all telecom operators, this is not unique to Idea, all telecom operators will run higher costs below EBITDA. But this is because large capacities have been created, and we are all waiting for the big opportunity that is getting built up of digital India, and as masses, from a classes to masses move to adoption of broadband, you will see most of your data subscribers are heavy EBITDA accretive, and margins will continue to improve, and we will go back to our old levels of PAT.
Telecom industry has seen some consolidations as of now. So is Idea looking out for a partner?
So our focus is no more beyond on consolidation. There are a lot of telecom operators who have chosen not to participate in mobile data growth and stayed back as voice users or voice operators, and their renewals will be coming up in the next 3 to 4 year time period. We wait to see what view they take over the long run.
I think that brings us to the end of our conversation. Thank you, Mr. Kapania, for speaking to Bloomberg.
Thank you so much.